So we're going to start in a comfortable seat, and as ever, going to find our breath. Just allow the eyes to close if they haven't already. And in these early stages of our practice, take yourself into your practice. Like, you establish your own kind of little rituals or your own connection to your practice. This will mean something different to all of you. But also it will mean something different on each day. Sometimes it will be I just need this practice today. Whether that's because of, you've had a strong day at work, or maybe your body's giving you a bit of jip. Or maybe you're in the headspace of, I'm just nice and relaxed and chilled and I'm just going to give myself this time. Right? The way your practice fits into your life is going to vary on different times. Or just give yourself that permission to take yourself into the practice. And this is your time. For whatever reason, whatever goal, your commitment to yourself, and it's important that we do carve that time. Very good. Let's bring our hands to our center. Press into the palms, shoulder blades drawn back. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands, stretch the fingertips out nice and wide. Brilliant. Inhale, hands together. Exhale. Inhale. The length of breath to the length of the movements. To the very tip of the exhale, the fingers reach their maximum stretch. You may find that you have to slow your hands down. It's fine. You may find that as you go through, it actually takes your hands longer to touch and extend because your breath is dropping. Or the opposite, because you're holding your arms and it's getting a bit quick and it's actually getting a little bit more challenging, your breath starts to quicken, which means you have to move your arms with the speed of your breath. So I don't care whether you're going quick or whether you're going slow, just listen to your breath and move with it. Now we're going to do this for 3 more times with the breath, and the focus is purely on the breath. Last time, exhale. Now, forget the breathing, forget the movement. Well, keep moving, keep breathing. But I want you to focus on how the shoulders feel. I want you to focus on how the biceps feel. Do you feel any tension in the arms? Do you feel it in the upper back from sitting down? Just tune in to your body. Okay, last time, inhale. Exhale. And by the way, if sitting cross-legged, hold at the end. Sitting cross-legged, it's a bit much, untuck your legs. Okay, we're just going to hold here. Let's bring some energy and warmth to those shoulders, ready to stretch into them. What I love about opening through the shoulders and the chest, it really opens up your heart center. We carry so much tension there. We get so guarded there. It's almost like we guard our sense of self here. We put our barriers up. It feels really nice when we get to open them up. Okay. Inhale. Palms facing up. And we're just going to lean to one side. Bring the hands down. Perfect. Keep your sit bones anchored. Your heart open. And exhale, opposite side. Inhale. Exhale. And last time, all the way up and all the way over. Perfect. Lift all the way up, arms up, shoulders relax, exhale, hands down. Perfect, okay. Now, what we're going to do here is just going to keep this one leg tucked. I'm going to lift this knee up. And this is going to be a bit of a stretch to the back of our shoulders. Now, Wendy, just take this a little bit steady with the tendonitis. If we're a bit tight in the hamstrings, keep the leg bent. What we're going to do is just going to see if we can lift the foot up. Okay. Now, from that position, depending on your flexibility and how this feels, you can use the ball of the foot to actually push forward, and kind of, you'll see my shoulder blades being kind of brought forward, and you kind of like wanted to kind of open the back out a little bit, so really rounding the upper back. It should feel like a nice opening to the back of the delts. Okay, and if your knee's bent here, it's absolutely fine. Okay. And I'm going to rest that down. Perfect. Come back to your seated position. Excellent. Now, opposite leg. Put that leg under. Come to the sit bones. Now, be mindful, different sides might feel different. Extend that up. And use the ball of the foot to kind of push forward on the feet and feel your shoulder blades being drawn forward. Really nice stretch to the backs of the shoulders. Breathe into it. And exhale. Perfect. Okay, release the feet. Straighten the legs. Okay, again, we're going to do the same. We're going to find a nice dynamic stretch to the shoulders here. It's also going to be lower back, hamstrings as well. So we're going to reach forward with the hands. And when we do this, we're going to see if we can reach over to the opposite side. So keep your belly button over your thighs. And we're just going to open up this side. Imagine it's like an accordion. Okay, the intercostals are opening. And with your hands on your knees, over your feet, we're just going to see if we can reach over. Just little taps. But you should feel it down this side. Okay, so use your breath. If you find that it's too much in the calves or the hamstring, lift the legs, tilt the tailbone. Okay, come to a position where you're able to extend down that side. Only little movements, but it's just warming up to some of the bigger movements we're going to get into. Now as you're doing this, see if you're kind of really forcing it with momentum, or are you being controlled? Are you activating your core and your thighs? Can you activate the core and the thighs together to bring you further into the stretch? So squeeze the belly, lift up through the legs. And you'll find that you start to get this really nice kind of tap. And it's been driven from your core and your legs. You're not kind of reaching, there's no kind of jerkiness to the shoulder. You're just getting a nice controlled in and out. Okay, change arms. If you've been alternating, continue to alternate. Very good. Okay, rest there. Now, last lesson, last class, I talked about a concept that we use in stretching called tasking, right? And what this really is just giving your brain something to shoot for. So let's say if we all come into a forward fold here, and we'll use a forward fold to demonstrate this, just bring your hands forward, not 100% into your stretch, like kind of just bring yourself in until you feel, right, that's good, I'm there, right? Notice where your hands are. So if I just look at my hands are over my toes in the middle of my palm. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to see if I can get my bottom of my palm to my toes, then my wrist, and then I'm going to keep moving back down the arm, essentially. And we're going to do that by activating the core and bringing ourselves deeper. Okay, so you activate the core. You're just using that visual reference to go deeper into the stretch. So this is going to get a really nice stretch to the back of the delts, to the upper back. It really opens up the back. So just use your core. Reach with the hands. If your hamstrings are a limiting factor, flex your toes, bend the knees, squeeze the core. Okay, we're going to go 3 more. Last one. And relax there. Okay, perfect. So we're going to bring that element of tasking and activation of the core to get us a little deeper into certain stretches in a moment. Okay. So before we do that, I want you to shift your bum up so your knees are facing up and slowly roll down onto your back. That should feel quite nice after that forward fold. And this posture here, it's going to feel a little bit goofy, but it's actually one of my favorites for shoulder mobility and openness. And what we're going to do is going to reach up with your hands. Okay. Now from here, what I want you to try and do is lift your shoulder off the floor. So protract your shoulder blade forward. And you're trying to get your shoulders off as high as possible. Yeah? Okay, so untuck them. Like you might have to wiggle a little bit. It feels like you're untucking your back from the mat. Yeah? Okay, so it's almost like you're just on the trapezius, like the upper back muscles, or even your spine. Really got those arms nice and high. And then what we're going to do is going to fold at the arms here. So fold at the elbows, but we're going to keep everything out, everything tucked. Now, I want you to tuck your tailbone a little bit, so you're lifting kind of your cheeks off the floor just a tad. It's going to keep your belly nice and active. And let's start with the right hand. Just reach over, and you should feel a really nice deep stretch down the back of the right shoulder. Now, if you twist a little bit here, that's fine, but don't actively like twist at the belly. You want to keep the thoracic spine, your middle, your belly button on the mat, and you're just reaching over with that hand. And then swap arms, reach over with the left, but keep everything tucked out so that you're winging your back. Right, so you're just going to reach over, reach over. That's it. So it's quite a goofy movement. Don't worry if it doesn't feel kind of normal, because it's not. It is different.
but you should feel like someone's untucking the backs of your shoulder. That's kind of the feeling that we're going for. And it can be quite sharp in the back of the shoulder. So if that's the case, don't push it, just go into your range. Now, keeping that same position, we're going to make this a little bit more dynamic. So at the minute, we're reaching over horizontally. So if we're reaching over on a clock face for a reference point, we're reaching to 9 o'clock with our left hand, and we're reaching to 3 o'clock with our right hand. Noon is above our head. So with your right arm, you may want to then go to 2 o'clock. With your left arm, you might go to 10 o'clock. And then you're just starting to reach a little bit higher. Now, if this feels sharp or a little bit too much, stop. Just really nice stretch to the backs of the arms and backs of the shoulders. Kathy, if you've been lifting lots of boxes, this is going to be really good for your arms, also good for the neck. So just get a little bit playful, a little bit fluid, just go for different angles, keep the back untucking, just keep working through this movement. You'll find the more you do it, the more open you start to feel, and that's good. This is very much a repetitive movement. There's benefit to doing this for a good 5 minutes. But we're not going to do that. We're going to come to a stop there. Okay, perfect. Come back to that initial position where the tailbone's tucked underneath and you're protracting your shoulders, which you're trying to reach the ceiling with your fingertips. That's probably a good way of putting it. But you keep the belly tucked underneath and your core active to stop you moving at the back. So reach up with your fingertips, and then from here we're just going to drop the left arm and see if you can bring the left thumb to the floor, and we're going to lift back up, and then we're going to bring the right back. You bring the right thumb to the floor and then up. If you can do that, and you can just bring the whole hand, great, and then back up, and then the opposite side. And then we're going to see if we can go all the way forward and all the way back. If your arms are kind of just off the floor and you can't go further, or to get to the floor you have to bend your elbow, not a problem, that's fine. Keep the arms straight and just go to wherever your flexibility stops. As long as you're feeling that stretch in the lats in here, that's fine. As you do that, if you find that you start to kind of arch at the back and you get a little mouse hole under your back that you can squeeze your hand underneath, stop, tuck the tailbone, the back should be flat, you shouldn't be able to get your hand underneath, and then just bring the hands back. Just like we're swimming, but we're keeping the back still and we're finding the movement at the shoulders. Again, the more times you do this, it's like you're lubricating the joint, really getting some deep movement and flexion into that range. Breathe. Okay, what we're going to do here is that we're going to leave the left hand up nice and high, the right to the side of the body. Reach with the left hand fingers so that just lengthen through that left arm. Deep breath in, the core is active, slight tuck to the tailbone, pressing into the soles of your feet. The back is entirely flat. Deep breath and hold. One more breath here. Exhale, change. Beautiful. 3 deep breaths. And bring the left hand to join. So both hands are up top. Again, if your hands are on the floor and they're just pointing up in the air, it's fine. If that's a little tight or a little strong, you can bend the hands, the elbows, to put the hands on the floor to support that stretch. 3 deep breaths. Perfect. And exhale that hand up. Okay. Activate your core. Bring your hands all the way to your knees. Perfect. Hold. Activate your core some more. See if you can reach all the way up. That was harder than I thought. If you need to tuck behind your thighs, bring yourself up. Not a problem. Happy days. Okay. Everybody okay? Thumbs up so far if you are. Yeah. It can get quite kind of sharp or quite sensitive in these stretches. So if you need to give yourself a bit of a shrug off, feel free. I said we're going to get into some deep ranges here. So remember to listen to your body. Don't push it. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let's give our shoulders just 5 minutes just to chill a little bit. Come to your knees. Wendy, be mindful on this one. You keep your feet untucked. There is a version to keep your toes underneath. I'm not sure how that'll feel for you. What we're going to do is we're just going to have a little floss between the hips just to give our shoulders a little bit of time to rest before the next stretch. Jenny, this is kind of good for your knees just to loosen off these kind of movements. So as you exhale, we're just going to drop into the hip. We're going to let this front leg track. So what we mean, just track over the ankle. So keep that in line. Don't let it bugger off to the side or anything like that. Just keep the knee tracking over the calf, over the ankle. And we're going to bring it back. Yeah. And then we're just going to drop into the hip. So depending on when you feel it, you may feel it in this back hip flexor. You may feel it underneath here. And we're just going to move back and forth with control. Keep going, use your breath. So remember how we started. It's just like the length of the breath dictates the length of the posture. Bring it back, and over we go. Okay. Now, while you're doing this, I'll just give you a few little nuances to it. If you tilt and tuck your tailbone, you're going to get very different stretches. So what I recommend is tuck the tailbone up here, tuck the toes, tuck tailbone here, and then drop in. You might find that you actually can't get as far. If I tilt the tailbone, I loosen off basically this quad, and then I can get further. So if you feel like I want to stretch my quads a little bit more, tuck underneath and just drop in and just feel that kind of the pelvis lifting the hip flexor up into that stretch, and then moving back. But if you feel like I want to stretch the front leg, tilt the tailbone, let yourself drop in, and you might find it a little bit more in here. So your hip position very much dictates what kind of stretch you feel. Okay, very good. Now I'm going to drop in to that stretch. A couple of variations to this. Number one, stay here, don't do anything else. Step two, fold over that front leg, tuck the back foot, and lift it up. This is variation two. Stay here if you want to. Variation number three, press into the right hand, release the left hand all the way up, really getting into the backs of those shoulders, kicking that right knee up, press down through the left sole of the foot, and find that balance there. 3 deep breaths. And exhale down, drop that knee, release that left foot. Cool. Opposite side. Again, this little movement depends on what you want to achieve. Where are you tight? What do you feel? Let your body guide you. For me, my hip flexor is a bit tight today, so I'm going to keep that tucked tailbone. And I'm just going to drop into it a little bit. I'm not going to force it too much. It feels like it's healing from yesterday's practice. So this is just to bring kind of a little bit of kind of back and forth to it, get the blood pushing in there, get the energy flowing, aid in recovery, but I'm not pushing it, so I'm just nice, gentle, loosen off here.
If you want to be full hog, straight into the back and forth, fill your boots, but just do it safely and use your breath. Very good. Okay, so that's one I'm going to hold. Find your variation. Second, fold over. Tuck the toes, left knee up. If it's in your practice, right arm through. Just a twist. Hold for 3 deep breaths. And exhale down, up the knee, untuck that foot. And just before we move on, we're just going to take a wide child's pose. Tuck the toes underneath, press back into the hips. We're going to take a bit of a longer posture here, so we're going to push back, allow the hands to fully extend. Index fingers facing forward, deep breath in, and exhale. Now at this point, you can feel it into your hips, into your shoulders. What I like about these kind of mobility classes is that you're all going to feel this in a very different place. There isn't a one size fits all. Again, I'm a guide, you're your teacher. It's up to you to kind of finesse the practice to fit what you're experiencing. This is what I love about a yoga practice, is that by default it gets rid of comparison, because we're all having very different experiences. And to feel you have to do exactly as I'm doing or as everybody else is counterintuitive, because it's not really honouring your own experience. So have the confidence to not do what I'm doing if it doesn't feel right. Have the confidence to make modifications. Of course I will guide you, and I will help you practice safely and help you develop. But I can't feel for you. The next inhale, you're going to lift up, bring the hands back. Very good. Okay. This is quite a deep stretch. We do it quite often. Listen to your body if you need to come out sooner. I'm just going to demonstrate. So it's a one-sided melting heart. We're going to do both sides and then melting heart. From this even kneeling position, we're going to take one hand across basically in front of this hand, but the hand's going to be on a tilt. Right. The one thing I don't want you to do here though is twist the chest. We're going to keep the chest kind of like parallel to the floor. So we're going to reach across, deep breath in. As you exhale, fold at this back arm to feel yourself deepening into the stretch. Don't kind of move forward or push down. All you have to do, just fold that right elbow, and you'll feel your chest just sinking into that left pit. This is a beautiful stretch to feel your exhalations working and to feel
Every exhalation, your body just letting go. It's like you're dissolving into the mat as you breathe out. Take one more breath here. And lift up. Slowly. Come up to the knees. Just give that arm a little bit of a loosen off if you need. Cool. Opposite side. You know what to do now. Come in from a nice all fours position. Right hand in front. Exhale forward at the left elbow. And use your breath to take you as deep as you need. We'll take one more full breath here. And exhale. And we're going to lift up. Back to this straight position, but this time both arms forward. We're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees. Use your tilt. So tilt your tailbone. Actually, a gentle tuck to this will actually get a nicer stretch in the lats and in the shoulders. So rather than fully tilting, a slight tuck and then let the chest melt. If you need to tilt just to kind of take a bit of pressure off, that's fine. And one more breath here. Slowly lifting up. Cool. Everyone okay? Yeah. For me, I get it in here a little bit, like in the elbow when with that one, because it pushes on that quite strong, and it can be quite tender under here, so just listen to your body. But really lovely stretch, and you'll feel super loose after this. Now we're going to finish off, but I'm going to, with a posture we've done, but I'm going to demonstrate before you all get into Shavasana, just so you can see what I mean. Before you lie down, should I say. So just if I can have your eyes for a moment. So what we're going to do, you probably know it well, but it's good just to repeat what we're looking for. Hand, over. Right, shoulder, shoulder. And we've got a nice 90-degree belly to thigh, hamstring to calf, right? Cool. Now if you do have a block and it's comfier to whack under your head, happy days. But it's not essential. What we're going to do from here, take this top arm, slide it forward. Now we're not twisting. We're not twisting over here. It's just the same movement as that. We're just retracting the shoulder. Yep. So we protract the shoulder forward. That's going to lengthen the backs of your shoulders. That's what we want. Then like the hands on the clock, we're going to slowly keep the fingers on the floor, reaching out. You want to keep that length to the shoulder. So keep reaching out, keep reaching out. As you go round, keep reaching. You'll get to a point, and we'll go a bit slower than this, but it's just so I don't keep you waiting, where the hands start to lift off the floor. When you get there, you're still reaching. You're going to stop, take a deep breath in, and you're going to exhale. You're going to stop, and exhale until your fingers touch. And then you're going to repeat and keep reaching until your fingers come off the floor. And there's going to be an element where as you're going round, your chest starts to open. That's really normal. You know, obviously, if we're going to twist, breathe in and exhale. You can really feel the openness on that exhale. Now, you don't have to always touch the floor. You just want to take 2 or 3 breaths and exhale. And then keep going. Okay, and we're going to go all the way. It's not ideal with my space, but until we get to this position, right? We come into this twist quite often. And then we're going to come all the way back. Again, as you twist, arm lift, exhale. We're going to take a little bit of time here. It's going to be in your own time. We're going to get back to here. We're going to do it once. When you get there, we're going to twist, come to the opposite side, and we're going to do the other side as well. So we're going to do 1 full rotation, anti-clockwise and then clockwise on each side. But we're going to take a couple of minutes. So go nice and slow. Okay. Remember the setup. I'm just going to have a look at people's setups. Very good, Monica. So slide that top arm forward. So protract that top arm. You should feel the back kind of move. So you, protract, reach. So you're just keeping that length of the shoulder. You're using your breath. Very good. Slowly moving around. You might find that you feel the stretch in a different part, like it might be in your mid back, upper back. That's normal. Just listen. Obviously, the bane of this posture is lack of space. So do your best with what you have. And working your way back in the opposite way. Perfect. And when you've matched your hands, we're going to come over for a twist to the opposite side. If you need to adjust your position, that's fine. Very good. That's it. Nice protraction, Jenny. It's important to make sure that your shoulders stay stacked upon each other.
Very good.
It's incredibly meditative. It's such a great posture for just dropping you into the body. Don't worry about the time. And when you've finished, roll to your back and bring your knees to your center. But no rush. If you're still doing your arm sweep, that's fine. If you are hugging your knees, just slowly circle the lower spine. One way and then the other. And to finish today's practice, I'm going to hug our knees, really stretch behind the shoulders. And with control, release the legs, release the hands to the side of the body, allow the feet to find the corner of your mat, palms facing up. Take a deep inhale and feel yourself spreading and stretching to kind of the edges of your mat with your entire body. And as you exhale, just feel all of your effort just dissolve like that. No more effort. No more stretching. Just complete surrender.
You've done everything you need to do now. You've moved, you've stretched, you've nourished. It's now time to surrender into your body's intelligence. You've done your bit. It's not our conscious mind that decides how we recover. Our body just does what it does. It will heal. In its own time. So surrender to that. Take comfort knowing that as long as we do what we need to do, consciously, practice, move, give our body what it needs, it will take care of the rest. So go into your evening with this in mind. Keep your lights dim. Chill on the TV. Just give your nervous system a chance to recover. Hydrate. Eat some food if you need. Just set yourself up for a really good night's kip. And your body will do the rest. On the next inhale, bring your hands above your head, your feet together, and just begin to stretch out the whole body. And when it feels good for you, join me in a seated position. Take your time. Just follow the breath, just for a minute. Just let our nervous system fully deregulate and our body heal. Perfect. Your tears will settle too. I made it through the whole class without. I'm sorry. Cool. Okay. Lovely. So we'll finish today though. Namaste.